Hey, great Monday evening, y'all. Guess what? It's another episode of Conversations with Chosen Pen. I am Dr. Anissa Short, your host today, and I've got some fabulous women in the studio with me today, and we've got something super exciting to discuss. So before we get started and get into the juiciness of this conversation, I want to extend to you a great big thank you for how you showed up and supported Chosen Pen's Literary Lifetime and Achievement Award.
Dr. Anissa Short, your host today, and
it was phenomenal, you guys. It was phenomenal. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're going to recap the event not only tonight, but we're going to recap it next week because it's a whole lot to talk about and we can't just do it in one episode. So before we get started, I've got two fabulous guests that are here. I'm expecting one more, and I want to start this off with a quick little video clip that I believe you're going to enjoy. Just a little 20-second clip before we get started with the questions and answers and all the laughter and all that good stuff. Hold on one moment. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb. So excited to be in Fayetteville, North Carolina for Chosen Pen's first annual Literary Awards and Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards event. It's going to be taking place this evening, but I'm so excited about meeting all the authors and recipients and being a part of something that's big and bringing people together. Glad you all could be a part of the ride.
All right, you all, that was the young, the rich, the famous Mr. Cyrus himself. He was our master of ceremony for the event. And for those of you who follow Cyrus, you already know just how much of an impact he's made in the literary world as an Amazon influencer, as a book reviewer, as a radio personality. Take a deep breath. As a magazine, he's published magazines. He's written books himself. He was actually a presidential Lifetime Achievement recipient as well, and we were honored to have him serve as our master of ceremony. I don't know if he realizes this now, but he's stuck with Chosen Pen, whether he wants to or not. So let's get started with the conversation. Who I have with me today are three fantastic women in their own right, two of which were literary award recipients. Their book was nominated and their book was recognized in its respective category. That's Dr. Teresa Smith, or Dr. Taz, as she's known by, and also Tina Siemens. Did I say it correctly that time?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been practicing, Tina. And then, of course, we have one of our media partners. And for those of you who live in Fayetteville, I don't even need to introduce you because we know we're worldwide. We need to let people know who Miss Shadonna Mo McFall is. Hello, Shadonna. Hello to Tina.
So awesome to see y'all.
Listen, let's get started. So, Dr. Norma was very much excited about this event. We all were. There's a lot of energy and time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears that went through to make sure everything was just right. The biggest blessing was the fact that, the objective, I should say, was to make sure that people who might not otherwise get recognition, receive recognition for their contributions, right? And so we started off with the conversation being centered around authors. Well, let's put it out there. Let's see. People can nominate their own books. Their friends can nominate them. We were just open to whatever. And then it grew. It grew to New Life Bible Fellowship being receiving the ability to give out Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards. So Dr. Norma serves on the board of that. And so it was like, well, when are y'all going to do that? No, we're trying to do all this in December, right? We only have 31 days. And then so you really lose a week because you got Christmas in there. And so then the decision was, let's just make them combined. Let's do them all on the same day. So then another question was, well, when are we going to do our Chosen Pen Christmas party? We so selfish. When are we going to do our Christmas party? Well, why don't we just make it a culmination of all of that? And that's what it ended up being. So we were excited because it was our Christmas party. It was excited. We were going to meet new friends, and it's just like a party, right? You have a party, people who are going to be there, and then you have people who show up and you're like, who are they? And you make new friends. And so that's what it was all about. So I want to say thank you all on behalf of Dr. Norma and the entire team at Chosen Pen for participating in your respective way. So let's talk about it. Let's start with Friday night, the meet and greet. Let's start with that. So the meet and greet was about you all getting an opportunity to meet each other, us getting an opportunity to meet each other, make connections, network over some little finger food or refreshments, as we call it. So, Dr. Todd, we're going to start with you, Tina, and then Shadana. All right, let's go. Let's talk about Friday night. How was it?
Oh, Friday night was wonderful. I like meets and greet. I like meet and greets, but this one was different. It was amazing as I heard the people's stories as they got up and they were talking. They were so captivating, and it's almost like you knew that you were with authors because just to hear them speak, it was like spoken word. And I'm like this, I'm like, gosh, I should have said more. But I'm like, oh, I didn't share enough. But the funny thing, even when I was speaking, I'm like, well, that sounded so good. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but don't say too much. But when you're in a room with like-minded people, it was just wonderful to hear everybody's story and how they got to the place that they were. So I just loved the meet and greet. Loved it.
I love it too. I'm going to say I second that emotion. All right. So I'm not going to do a lot of feedback because we would never get off this phone, off this broadcast. All right, Tina, what about you? Friday night.
It was absolutely amazing. I think I was the second person in the room, and I was just feeling the energy of the anticipation of meeting new authors and connecting with like-minded people, like Dr. Taz said. That was so felt, the like-mindedness. Everyone was on the same page. We were all there for the same purpose. And that alone just created such an amazing atmosphere of unity, of just embracing each other's stories, because everyone was there because they had written a story. And so for us to all get together and be in that like-mindedness, in that atmosphere of, I can connect. We all went through the same process of what it takes to write a book, or what it takes to gather information and then put it on, and then to see that there's a book with you, the title that you chose, the your story, and that's what every one of these people in the room felt and knew. And so for me, it was just absolutely like a little piece of heaven. I just absolutely loved every moment of it.
Tina, I think you were the person that traveled the furthest, I believe, based on where you live in Seminole, Texas, because you're right at the Mexico border, within about 30 minutes of the Mexico border. So I think you were. Now, we were going to give out an award, but we didn't. You will get that one for the furthest traveled. I believe you may be the furthest, but thank you for coming. It was a pleasure to meet you. Shadana is one of our local publicists, radio personality. Many people know her because she's all over the city all the time. I don't know where she gets the energy, but she's definitely in her lane. And when I reached out, I said, Shadana, here's what we're doing. I really would love it if you would come, because she does an excellent job of showcasing events. I knew calling her, even if she were only there 30 minutes, there would be like buku reels. You'd be like, where did she get all this? When did she do all of this? Shadana, tell us what you thought about. You were able to come Friday night.
Yes.
You were able to come Saturday night. So let's talk about Friday night. What was your first impression?
So Friday night when I walked in, I was like a little bit late because I had to, have a whole kid. I got to get situated. But I walked in and everybody was doing their, stood up and told their story. And I was really impressed by that, because a lot of times people do not like to plug the speakers, like pulling teeth, like, you want me to do what? You want me to? But everybody got up like they had been, like they was like stand-up comedians. So I was really impressed by everybody's ability to articulate what they wanted to say about their book. And what was more impressive is, like Dr. Short said, everybody who's traveled from here and there and everywhere, because nobody's coming to Fayetteville, nobody's coming for this, nobody's coming for that. Yes, they will. If you give people the opportunity, something to come forward, they will show up and show out, especially if it's about them, especially if it's something about them to celebrate, because they have put their blood, sweat, tears, and investment into making this thing happen. So I was just like, oh my God, y'all love our city.
You make a very valid point with regards to people showing up when they know they're being recognized. But here's the thing that I thought was even that added plus is that many of these people have friends and family to come with them and support. They didn't try. Tina's a prime example. Her mother, her daughter in love, and her granddaughters were with her. There were people who came from the state of Virginia to support someone else who came in from the state of Ohio because they were friends. So people, if you build it, they will come. If they
Right.
see the value, and you want to make sure that the event is an event of value, and obviously people felt the value in the process. So Friday night's meet and greet was an opportunity also not only for us to connect and for people to connect with each other, but Cyrus opened up the door for Amazon Live interviews. And so Dr. Taz and Tina, I know Cyrus is not a stranger because you guys have connected with him in many occasions in the past. But let's talk about now, Shadon, I think you got some behind the scenes with the video,
I did.
interview. So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, really, that's Amazon Live, and he was on various platforms. Let's talk a little bit about the graciousness of Mr. Cyrus Well, why don't we? Taz, let's start with you, and then Tina and Shadana.
You know, it was like the icing on the cake. You know, of course, you know, I know Cyrus, but you think about it, you're an author, you've written your book, you've traveled that distance, and then to be on Amazon Live, and then it's like all these other platforms at the same time. We're talking Facebook, we're talking IG, we're talking LinkedIn, we're talking X or Twitter, whatever you want to say. And it's like all of this is happening at the same time. And as you know, Cyrus he has a large reach. So that meant that people were being introduced globally to other people across the globe. And it's like, oh my God, you know, and he has a way of just making you feel so at ease. And he just brings things out of you. And then when you go back and look at it, you're like, oh my, I didn't even know I said that. So to me, it was like the icing on the cake.
I agree.
Just show the world, here I am, and here's my book. And I'm being recognized worldwide, you know?
Right. I love it. I love it, Dr. Teresa. I agree with you 100%, most definitely. All right, Miss Tina, what was your impression? How did it make you feel? Did you feel like the celebrity that you are?
Well, thank you for that question, because I promised Cyrus Friday night that I was going to work on this for myself, because he asked, one of the questions was, when you look in the mirror, do you say you are worthy? You did it. Like, he knows how to ask these questions, and I have struggled. I know I've written these 2 books and the third one coming, but I have yet to this day, and he said, I promised him on Saturday night that the next time he interviews me, I will have looked in that mirror and said, Tina, you are worthy. You are an author. He brings this value to you by asking the questions of what did it feel like, or how did you get here? And so Cyrus just has such a unique availability and brings out the best in you, because what you don't recognize for yourself, he already sees that, and he then has a way of building you up to seeing that for yourself. And that's where I have been, this shy girl that only knew German as an 8-year-old, learning that new language, and here I am on the world platforms, and to be recognized. That is just like, I just really want to cry happy tears right now, because that is what Cyrus Webb does. And that's what you gave the platform, you creating this whole weekend with such special and details, the details that y'all made for every one of those who were in attendance. It was just such a bliss. I will never forget. I'm on such a high that I will it'll take me months, and then the memories will go on. And that's what y'all did. That's what Cyrus did. And I'm just so grateful for every moment that I spent there.
Well, Tina, it was a pleasure having you and everybody else that was a part. I know, shifting to Shadana, one of the things we had a conversation about was when I told you a little bit about our lead media partner, Cyrus. I told you he was an Amazon influencer, and you said, well, you know, I am too, but I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this, you know. So now, because you had an opportunity to meet Cyrus and to see him in action and to understand what he was doing behind the scenes and how he uses this platform, I have no doubt in my mind your 2025 is about to explode. Shadana, tell us how you feel.
Absolutely. So when I met Cyrus, so we had lunch. Before we even had the dinner, we had a lunch when she picked Cyrus up to the airport, from the airport, and we went and had lunch at Uptowns, and it was just phenomenal, that part. So when I got to meet him, you know, we friended each other on Facebook. So Facebook just shows me all of this stuff that he's doing, and I'm just like, So I seen him and I just start saying the stuff that I seen, he's working with 50, Rick Ross. And, he was like, well, you've been on my page. I'm like, yeah, Facebook done flooded me with your stuff. So and I'm like, I want you to know that I see you, brother. Because a lot of times people will act like you ain't who you are. You're not doing what you do. I said, sir, I'm not a hater. I see you. I love it. I want more of it. So, so when I got there, I was doing, me, I'm all got my camera doing my thing. And he was like, Mo, I'm going to come back. I said, to connect with you. I said, you coming back just to connect with little old me? So, we play that up or whatever. But it is like, I tell people all the time, people know how to do things that you're losing sleep over. All you have to do, make the ask and make the investment. And that's what people have to understand. Success starts with the vision, the investment, and the follow through. You have to I have to have all three. It's not one or the other. It's all three. If you truly want to live out your dreams, if you truly want to be that person that you want to be when you look in that mirror. So I was so impressed that I'm like, yes, I'm definitely going to reach out and see what can I do with this, because I do want to do more influencing and more of this and more of that, because as we're not doing this for nothing, right? We're not doing this for vanity. I'm not doing it to be popular. We're doing it because we do want to make money. We do want to make a living. We do want to take all these trips and go all these places where we're recognized.
And we want to make an impact. And you're doing it already on a local level. So yeah, I don't doubt it. Let me just show that you guys, we have Miss Tara Williams on here. She says, fantastic event. Congrats to the award recipients. My aunt, Miss Margie Davis, says, good evening. And then Trizia Wallace plugs in, says, great job, Dr. Norma McLaughlin and Chosen Pen Publishing, as if she is not a part of Chosen Pen, but she's saying it. Right. She was very instrumental in this success, and Cyrus is phenomenal. I have to agree. Here's the thing that we decided to do. The decision was made when Dr. Norma shared the vision about having this literary awards platform. There are a lot of times when people will have these extend opportunities for people to be recognized, but you just submit your works and you just wait to hear back from them. And then Dr. Norma said, no, I want them to come to Fayetteville. They can't be recognized unless they come to Fayetteville. We was like, well, okay, that's a different twist. And then we added in the meet and greet. And we added in the interviews with Cyrus, because regardless of whether you took home an award or not, we wanted this weekend to be worthy of your attending.
Yes.
We wanted to see if you were willing to make the investment to come to Fayetteville. We wanted to make sure that it was worthy of your attending. So you had an opportunity to network, as we said earlier, with like-minded people, to meet Cyrus, to glean from him, to be interviewed by him, to build relationships and network with people who sometimes, Dr. Taz is in Raleigh. There was another young lady in Cary. Those are sister cities right there in the same county. How do you know they're right across the street and she doing the same thing you're doing, that kind of thing. And then Jelana says, Shadana says, I have an Amazon platform. I don't know what to do with it. Well, what if she said no to the opportunity? She wouldn't have met Cyrus and been able to learn from him. So Friday night was phenomenal. Okay, so Trizia says, hi, Dr. Teresa. Hello, Tina. She's speaking, everybody. Hey, Trizia, thanks for watching. So that was Friday night. Then Saturday, we had the breakfast that morning. Now, y'all don't have to talk about the salmon patties, the shrimp and grits, the bacon, the sausage, the biscuits, the bagels, the scrambled egg, the fruit cup, the juice, the coffee. I'll talk about that. If you left there hungry, that was your fault. So the Meal of New Life, along with Miss Trizia Wallace and Miss Carol Harrison, overseeing all of that, the breakfast was top notch. One thing Chosen Pen is going to do is feed you good. Yes. We're going to feed you good, if nothing else. So we had the breakfast, and that was an opportunity, of course, for people to connect. So whoever you didn't meet Friday night, you could move to another table and meet someone else and have more conversation with someone else on Saturday morning. But then Cyrus's workshop. So we can't tell all of he went live, so it's not like it's top secret, right? Let's talk about the fact, I don't think you were there that morning. You weren't there that morning because you had another engagement. So, but Dr. Taz and Tina, let's talk about the workshop. What's one takeaway that you gained, if you can narrow it down to one takeaway? And let's go in reverse order. Tina, you go first, and then Dr. Taz.
Okay. Well, with what impresses me and has for many years with Cyrus, and for me to meet him in person for the first time at this event was absolutely absolutely a beautiful occasion. But he once said, and I'll never forget it, he said, if you're not invited to somebody else's table, then set your own.
Yeah.
And that is what he does. He allows, he doesn't go and say, oh, I've got all this, but he takes somebody else with him.
Yep.
So whoever is willing to listen to Cyrus will learn something every single time, because he's such a knowledgeable across the platforms of how to do social media, and how he, I heard a part of the interview he did with Dr. Belma this afternoon, and somebody had said, I think Cyrus is just AI. And he said, no, I'm in person. I'm as real as they, but he does his things so meticulously that it feels like he is AI. The brain that he has, the contribution that he is giving to so many people. So he is rising because he is not afraid to help others rise.
Right.
And that's where his strength lies. He's winning so big, but he tells his team all the time, if I win, you win. And that's what he did Saturday morning. He let everyone be a winner by asking the questions, by giving the answers, and staying on topic. And just he is just such a phenomenal teacher that it was brought out to the audience there.
You're right. I agree with you, Tina, totally. One of the things that I know I am blessed and fortunate is to be connected to him. And I've known of Cyrus Webb for years, y'all. And it's amazing how, because I once lived in the city, in the area where he lives, I once lived there. So I knew kind of sort of who he was, but he good people. I heard he did some great things, And then I moved to North Carolina, and his name came up in conversation probably like 6 or 7 years ago. And I'm like, why does that name sound so familiar? I know him. And LaShira Lee, who was also there, she was the one that was telling Dr. Norma about him. You all need to connect with Cyrus Webb. But and then she said, but he stays so busy and he has so much demand. I don't know. And I'm thinking to myself, we probably can't even afford him. Because listen, how many times do we make those assumptions? We assume before we, Shadonna said, ask.
Yes.
We make a lot of assumptions that prevent us from asking. And so fast forward, Dr. Norma ends up being connected with him as a publicist. And I can't remember now how that happened. And then, of course, because I work closely with her, I'm just brought into the meetings and things, whether I want to be or not. I've been voluntold. And I'm so glad because I got my little pen and pad and my recording feature going on my phone, because I'm capturing it all. And to realize he has a major fingerprint, the people that he's connected with, like his client Shadonna made reference to, but then he's just everybody, just the average person. I said, Cyrus, we're getting ready for your arrival. Do you have any, dietary, restrictions, or are there anything that you like or that you don't eat, or you don't, you like and you don't like, or you eat and you don't eat? He said, listen, I'm from Mississippi. I eat food. I'm like, okay, whatever, So, all right. So, Dr. Taz, to you, let's take away from the workshop. What do you think about the Saturday workshop with the breakfast?
I love the workshop, and I was asking a bunch of questions. Like, I had never had an opportunity to ask any questions of Cyrus. But the reason being is, and Tina has said it so well, but whenever you're in his presence, you better take advantage of it. And it's like things click every time I hear him talk about stuff. And things are changing. It was about social media, guys. And things are always changing with social media. And I can remember way back when, I don't know, that was last year, way back when, probably was. And I was like, oh, do I need to attend this class? And he was like, yeah. Well, that's when it really clicked. It's changing really quick. So you can learn something in September. Well, it's December now. They have changed that. So if you're not keeping up on it, by yourself, then you better go and listen to someone who is on top of it, that you can ask those questions to help you to build your platform out. And the other thing that I would say, as Tina said, he's a skilled trainer. And if you're engaged, you're learning something. And like you had said, Alyssa, we had all types of people in the room, people who were novice, people who really they were just getting started, and then people who are much more social media savvy than me. But Cyrus still was able to keep us on
Yeah,
time.
he
And he
was.
addressed everybody's question. It's not
Yep.
like somebody's question didn't get answered.
Yeah.
And I mean, that just speaks to his skill set. And he does the same thing when we're in interviews. He's able to just effortlessly move you along and get you to the finish line, and you don't know it. And so I think that everybody should have walked away knowing that they got their question answered. Because if they asked, he answered it. And even if they would have asked him, offline, he was going to answer their
He
question.
did. He took time to answer questions.
Yeah, he's just that type of giving person. So
He
I
is.
think that was another added bonus. It's like, I told you it was the icing on the cake with the Amazon. Then you decided to give me strawberries, and so let me throw a few blueberries there too. I'm just so glad you didn't give me no raspberry, because sometimes the raspberry be a little sour.
Yeah.
But the blueberries was right on time.
We wanted to build upon. We knew everybody wouldn't be there Friday, or they may have just been
Yes.
coming into the city. So we knew the workshop was added value. And let me just say this, people. The registration that they paid for the breakfast was minimal compared to what he charges for his workshops. Honestly, it was very minimal. It was a fraction of what he typically charges. But that points to he had no control over the price point. That was Dr. Norma's decision. She says, I'm not trying to break these. I want them to gain something. She says, I know we could charge more. We would have the right to charge more. She said, but that's what I just want them to have enough to be invested. But I want this weekend to benefit them. I don't want anyone to say no to an opportunity because they were strapped for cash, or it may not have fit their budget, especially for those who flew in or drove in or took a train, plane, automobile, So that breakfast, the workshop, let's see, Tara Williams says yes. The social media changes daily, and Cyrus's information is always relevant and up to date. You're absolutely right. We're so fortunate that he works closely with Meta, because when Meta makes the changes, that affects Instagram, it affects LinkedIn, it affects Facebook, and I think X is what he said, X. But anyway, when those changes come about, because he's connected, he gets firsthand knowledge that he can pass on to those who are connected to him. It makes sense to say to be in the room.
Yes.
Amen.
To make the investment to show up. So people showed up, they showed out. Saturday night was the culmination of it all. It was the gala. Listen, we did our best to reproduce the Academy Awards, or we had our own red carpet. We had media personalities with the bright lights and the microphones doing interviews. We had our formal attire. We had hors d'oeuvres in the lobby, hors d'oeuvres waiting on you.
Yes.
We wanted everyone to feel good about being a part of this event, whether they were a nominee or attending with a nominee. Dr. Taz, tell us what your first impression was and what was your biggest takeaway from that night.
Well, first of all, I walk in and people are already being interviewed. And I will say the media partners that you had there, because there are two other, we had Mo, and then we had another young lady, and then a gentleman.
Ebony Walker and Thomas Wilson.
Oh, they were excellent. And the photographers were excellent. And it was like you were being transported to the Academy Awards. And for me, and Tina, you'll get this, it's like, I don't really take that time to celebrate me. And it was like, if I didn't want to celebrate me, I had no choice. I was going to be celebrating myself, because I was doing what we were told that we were supposed to do. You're going to get interviewed, then you're going to get interviewed on the red carpet, all this different stuff. And to me, it was like, somebody, this is probably a bad way to say it, but I'm going to say it this way. Somebody saw me. Somebody saw me, and they saw the value in me. And so as a result, how could you not see your own value for once? You know what I'm saying? Because other people saw the value. And I got to say this too, regardless of which day it was or which event, the people in the room, and I've been in a lot of rooms, in a lot of rooms with a lot of people, but the people in the room, I believe, and there's some people I didn't get a chance to speak to a lot, were probably the most sincere people that I have ever been around.
Yes.
Wow.
the most sincere people. I think they were happy for everybody, even people who didn't win. I think they were happy for the people who won. I think the people who we were connecting and networking, people were genuinely interested in that. And I
Yeah.
can't really explain it if you weren't there, but it was just, it was genuineness. And you saw it even as we were interacting with the media partners. You know, they made you feel like you were at the Academy Awards. And that was so important too, because that really set the tone for when we actually got in for the award ceremony. So again, I can't say enough about Saturday night. It was just fabulous. Fabulous.
Thank you, Dr. Taz. All right, Tina, what about you? You had your mother, your daughter, and I keep saying mother-in-law. You had your daughter-in-law and your two granddaughters. So I want to know what you thought, as well as how they felt you were treated. What were their impressions?
Chosen Pen did such a phenomenal job. You built it up. You let us know what the whole event would be like. But the moment I stepped through that door, I knew I was among my sisters and brothers. And I had never met any of you ever in my life before. And I knew walking in that these are my people. These are my just connections that will forever last.
Yes.
And that is what, and it was because that is how Chosen Pen set it up. With your emails, like I felt like I already knew you just by our conversation. And then Dr. Taz and Cyrus, it was just like I was so anticipating the one-on-one, and every turn that you turned, there was somebody new that you could connect to. And then when we walked in with our high heels and our makeup on and our just the glamour that was there, it just truly felt like you were a star among the stars. They always say, reach for this moon, but if you don't reach the moon, then you'll at least be among the stars. We were among the stars. It was so glamorously set up. And it was just so effortlessly, like you had planned it to where it flowed so beautifully from the main hallway. I mean, going into the hallway, everyone had their turn, and you, Dr. Short, you did such a phenomenal job guiding the audience to the right place and making sure that everyone had the opportunity to be interviewed by Mo and by the others. And then
Ebony, it was Ebony and Thomas, Ebony Walker and Thomas Wilson.
Yes. And so they just did such a phenomenal job leading up to. And then when we come and sit down with the table set so elaborately, and then the stage with the book, the backdrop was an actual book. That it just all was so well done. And it truly made you feel like walking that red carpet. Cyrus took my picture, and it feels like I belonged. And
you did belong.
And then when you, my granddaughters both said, Oma, they call me Oma in German for grandma. Oma, you're gonna win. And I said, I already did. Just coming there, participating in everything leading up to the gala, I already won. And so for me to have met all these friends and brothers and sisters that are now going to be in my contact list is going to be an ongoing gift that will last for as long as I breathe. And so thank you to all who participated in making this gala the amount. And then for us to walk backstage and for me to be able to make that picture of.
I love that picture. I love that picture, Tina. I borrowed it from your Facebook page. I just want you to know.
We walk up that stage and our name is called, and you get the recognition, and then there came the award. Like everything was so elaborate, and then on top of that came the award. It is just it'll give me bragging rights till the day I die. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Absolutely. You are worthy of that. Congratulations as well. Tell everybody what you received, because for those who didn't make it, they need to know that you are an award winner. So tell us what their book was, The Little Sandals That Could, and it came in. Your book was considered a book of was it children's book? Yeah,
children's
children's
book.
book. And what
So
place
here
did that
it
take
is.
her?
Mm-hmm.
It was second place in the children's category, and I just absolutely love that I could have my granddaughters there for this special moment because they are part of this book. I made this children book very interactive, where my grandchildren could be a part of, feeling that this is not only Oma's work, but it's their work. It's giving the baton, and I think every author in there, whatever they wrote to share with the world, to share with their friendly and family. So we're handing on the baton to the next generation by what we're doing today.
As a matter of fact, it's all about your legacy. Dr. Taz, I'm going to go back and ask you and congratulate you on being a winner.
Thank you.
And your book, Stronger, came in first place in nonfiction self-help, I believe is right.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And I was just floored. I was busy helping Professor Marche get photos of her because she had won, and I didn't even know what was going on. And but you know, that's the way it is, and that's the way it was supposed to be. And I wouldn't have changed a thing because that speaks to the fact that, like I said before, we became a family. We were just helping each other, and it was effortless. But yes, my book's strong, which you can see if I was Cyrus Webb. Well, on that side of me, up in this corner, that corner, you know, as he does with that Amazon stuff. But it's in the shot. My book's Stronger. How overcoming life's adversity can push you into your purpose. One, and I am so thrilled. It's my memoir basically, and it's my first book, and it's the foundation of who I am. So I was just so overwhelmed and just so appreciative.
Well, congratulations. Now, Shadonna, listen, she was there Friday night. She was there Saturday. Shadonna has two of her clients that receive Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards, Mr. Scott and Dr. Stefan Ferguson. So, you know, I already knew she was going to be there, y'all. It was no sense of me acting brand new because I already knew Shadonna was going to be there recording. But she was not selfish with her time. She just didn't focus on her clients. She shared the love. Shadonna, tell us a little bit about how this, you know, your conversations with some of the authors, your conversations with some of the lifetime recipients, just your personal perspective of the event itself.
Yes, absolutely. Before I get to that, Friday night's meatballs. You talked about the breakfast. You didn't talk about their meatballs Friday night.
I thought she was going to say something about the herbs and the spices.
Right?
The meatballs are on point. Them meatballs.
We gotta give Miss Jean a shout out for the meatballs.
Jean Thompson was in charge of the refreshments for Friday night, and she did the doggone thing. She did an outstanding job on it was like a charcuterie experience. She said chicken salad was good. The dips were delicious. The fillers, the meatballs, as Shadonna has already. Yes, all of it was great.
And then her son giving the recipe with her contact. I thought that was genius.
Yeah,
giving a recipe with her contact.
Smart, right? Yes. That's just an added plus. Those are the bits. Those are the little small gestures that we don't tell you about that happen that add that added plus. It's like the whipped cream and the cherry on top. We can tell you that if we mentioned it, you know, I didn't know Jean was in charge of the refreshments for Friday night, and she used her own creativity and skill to make it, you know, the and then some. So Shadonna, come on, tell us now.
Okay.
I know you got a lot to say.
Friday, so Saturday. So let me tell y'all. So Dr. Short had me double booked, y'all. So that's why I wasn't there on time.
Okay.
She put me in another event in Ray.
It was my fault.
But I loved it. So I got there. So I actually got to talk to Tina afterwards because she was on my list to talk to on the red carpet. But after I'm like, if you're up to it, because I know you're tired, I know our feet hurt, but she was so gracious. She did the interview and she signed the book for me. So I am so grateful. Because she could have been like, well, you should have been here when we was doing the thing. But she did. So I was so grateful for that. And Dr. Todd, you was wearing that dress, honey. I didn't get it. You was wearing that.
Put that red dress on.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what I will say, too, like I said, Dr. Ferguson and Jerome, yes, they are my clients. But like I said, Chosen Pen, I worked with them in the past too. So I got all the content. And I'm a content girl. Content is king. I'm not going to miss a thing because you never know Dr. Taz, oh, I got this video of Dr. Taz. Oh, Tina, I got you know, so and I do that anyway, but it's so important to get those memories, to get that content, to let people know, hey, I did this. You know, and a lot of times people want to be humble, and that's fine. Not me. I'm not going to be humble. If I did this, then I did this. Just like today, we were on the radio. So Dr. Ferguson used to produce my radio show because, you know, he's bigger than life too. And Mr. Scott, he's one of my clients. He actually sponsors the radio show. So they just came in and I didn't think nothing of it. So Jerome was like, well, I have a meeting here. So I'm like, okay, well, since you're here, you know, you help me do this. You're always welcome. And then Dr. Ferguson came in later. I thought they came in to talk about their Lifetime Achievement Awards, right? We're recapping. They actually gave me the Presidential Volunteer Service Award live on the show. You talking about feeling like Ellen with that medal?
And Donna, I knew all of that was going to happen. Actually, when I was on your show last week to talk about this, the original plan was for you to be presented it then, but it didn't work out. So I kept a secret again, y'all. I was able to keep a secret.
And no one has ever surprised me like that in my life. I'm usually the one doing the surprises and pulling the strings and making things happen. So that was phenomenal. And Dr. Short, the way you just kept your composure, and I know you're a very composed woman, but you was very composed and you had a story for everybody.
Yes.
And that personal touch, and then when your husband comes on, so he was one of the ones that I did get to speak to beforehand. And you know, we joked, and I hope you saw the video. We talked about the checklist and how organized and detailed. You're like, yep, I get a checklist every day. So it was just so amazing, like I said, to be in the room. I love being in a good room with people who are just as smart or smarter than me. I don't want to be in any rooms where it's not smart people. And for people writing 100 books, like
Jacqueline Thomas, yes,
amazing.
I don't even think I read 100 books. Am I not? I probably haven't. I ain't telling no story. I ain't read no 100 books.
So here's the thing about, and here's the added plus. I don't know if this was brought out, but Jacqueline was very instrumental in assisting Dr. Norma with getting Chosen Pen started 11 years ago. She, as well as Miss Suzetta Perkins, who was another Lifetime Achievement recipient, she serves on the board and was working with Dr. Norma early in the infancy of the company on coaching writers on writing their books and things of that nature. So there was history in that space as well, you know, but of course it wasn't about Chosen Pen. It was about the authors who were there and the Presidential Lifetime Achievement recipients.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tina.
I was just going to shout out to Shadana.
Yes.
I was on she said, I was on my way out the door and she said, I would love to interview. So just capturing the time. We all have these special moments in the space of time. Every moment like this counts because you never know who you're going to encounter. And so for her to just come up to me and say, could I do this interview? Thank you. That meant so much to me. I truly appreciate your time and just the shout out to everyone that you make them feel so special.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I knew who I was calling when I reached out to the media partners because we knew we had Cyrus as our media partner, right? And he carries his own weight. And then Gary on and his partner, he's the owner of I'm going to say he has a business and he does a lot of the work with Chosen Pen with his videography and photography. We can always expect him to do top quality work. But I knew it was important. One of the tasks that I took upon myself when I first started working with Dr. Norma is working to get more exposure for Chosen Pen. What I realized is a lot of people didn't know Chosen Pen existed right here in Fayetteville. So when this event, I said, what I'm going to do is reach out to 2 or 3 people who I know are serious about their craft and who are good at getting the word out. I knew Shadana is everywhere.
Yes.
everywhere, and she's good with content. I could trust that she would have great content.
Mhm.
Ebony Walker has her own podcast. She's done some work with Chosen Pen before, but she's a great orator. She's a wordsmith. I call her a scribe. And she has her own podcast now. So I said, do you want to do this? Grab some content. You need this. Yeah, she was like, yes. And then I wanted a gentleman, a guy.
Mhm.
And I don't know Thomas Wilson very well. We became acquainted several years ago, but we're Facebook friends. And I knew he had a podcast, and I knew the quality of the work that he brought to the table. And when I made reference to the opportunity, I said, here's what the situation is. This is what we have to offer you. We would love for you to be a partner with us. And he said, yes, I will be there. And he brought two people with him
Yes.
to help him work the camera and a substitute interview if necessary. They did an excellent job. And because of the work that they did, more people, not just in Fayetteville, but the people who follow these folk that live in the outskirts are going to learn more about Chosen Pen, but not just Chosen Pen, but they're going to learn more about you as an author and as a presidential lifetime achievement recipient. That's what it's all about. We're here to serve. And so we use our platform. Dr. Norma, that's her vision. She says, I am a server. My time on this earth is to help other people get more exposure, to become stronger, become better, become more proficient. And she's doing a great job of it. And we have an awesome team, Chosen Pen. I got to give it to them. Everybody played a part. It was all hands on deck. Some of them hands got tired. I know my feet got numb on Saturday night, but that was okay. I survived it, but we wanted to make sure it was done with the spirit of excellence. And I believe that everybody felt that. That's what was most important. That was most important. So, ladies, I want to thank you again on behalf of Dr. Norma McLaughlin in her absence, the entire team of Chosen Pen. I want to thank you for being a part of this gala next Monday night at 6 p.m. I've got three more fabulous faces. Three more fabulous faces are going to come on. We've got a lifetime recipient and another media person, and I think another author. And Mr. Short himself says the event was excellent. Chosen Pen did an exceptional job of serving the nominees and the audience. And of course, y'all know that's my husband, right? So
Yes.
Was that on his list to say?
No, that wasn't on his list. He volunteered.
On the checklist.
That was not on his today's checklist, but he does know that
Mr.
on
Short
Monday
did
night,
good.
he does know that I'm on Monday nights, and he'll get on and he'll watch, and then sometimes he'll not only that, but he'll also share. So for those of you who are watching, whether you watch the replay or you're watching us live, I sincerely appreciate you chiming in on tonight, carving out time on your Monday night to be with us. Don't forget, like, comment, and share this platform. We will be back next Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with more conversation about the gala. And remember, our motto all year has been, we want to grow more and more in 2024, and we cannot do it alone. So I want to thank you for being here, ladies. Once again, continued success. Let's stay connected and make even bigger, better things happen in 2025. I don't know what I might come up with a slogan for 25. We're going to go all the way live in 2025. I don't know.
All the way live.
All the way live. You guys have a great night, and thanks again for being here.
Thank you.